was on side.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Wake Up Wednesday. Today, stand your ground. Now, today's video came I've been thinking about doing this video for a little while actually, but I wasn't too sure, and then today it felt like it was such confirmation at church, because my pastor said something that kind of triggered me, and I was like, ooh, okay God, I hear you. But essentially today is all about standing your ground. Not necessarily if you're having an argument with somebody, not necessarily if you're fighting you know, a battle with somebody. It's in terms of who you are, and you are as an individual and as a person. Now, as a content creator, you are exposed to a lot of different types of people. Of course, you watch other people's content, you look at other people's content, and you just put yourself in this world of, you know, of creativity and different people doing their own thing. People are putting videos out, putting pictures out, putting whatever it is that they're putting out, and it can become very, very easy to start looking at other people and not, I wouldn't say be jealous or envy, but to look at other people and be like, oh, I want to be like that, I want to do that, I want to be like this, oh, I like the way that they did that, I want to be like that. Now, one thing I will say is that I've said multiple times in you know, different videos that there's nothing wrong with admiring people, there is nothing wrong with looking up to people, there's nothing wrong to you know, to aspire to be like somebody. There is nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, we're all so different, and we all bring something so different to the table, that it's a beautiful thing that when you can look at somebody and admire their work, and you know, admire what they do, and think, oh my gosh, like I would love to maybe produce work like that, or whatever it is. There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem then comes when you start feeling like, I need to change myself in order to be like this other person. And I feel like I went for a bit of a phase, and I don't know when like the beginning of it and when the end of it really is, but you know, I've always been someone that's been very, very, you know, strong on saying like, be who you are, remain who you are, trust in yourself, you know, be confident in who you are, be confident in what you do, be confident in what you bring to the table. But it was almost as though I had to also tell myself that, like, you know, I've been kind of like saying this a lot recently, the fact that I'm not a perfect individual, I'm not a perfect person. I go through things just like everybody else. I go through difficulties, I go through insecurities, I go through everything just like everybody else. You know, I've mentioned before on my channel, for example, you know, being, you know, my insecurities in terms of my body, and how that's kind of been something that I've grown up with, and something that I still face, you know, and I go through till this very day. So, you know, I'm not perfect, and yes, I do bring out a lot of positivity, and you know, like I've said before, 90% of the time I am quite a very happy, positive person. But I do have those moments where I doubt myself, where I struggle, where I question myself, I question my abilities, I question how adequate or inadequate I am. I have those moments too, and I feel like more recently I remember just thinking to myself like, oh, if I do things like that, then I will progress better, or if I do things like this person, then I will be better. And yeah, very quickly I had to kind of tell myself like, Nissy, you need to snap out of that, because that's never been you. You've never been that person that kind of feels like you have to do things like anybody else. Like, you as an individual, and this is not me being narcissistic, this is not me being vain, this is me just reminding myself of who I am. Like, Nissy, you are amazing in yourself. The way God has designed you and the things that God has placed over your life is completely different from anybody else. And so why on earth are you looking to other people to almost validate you, or to make you feel like, yeah, if I do things that way, then I'm gonna be validated, or then I'm gonna be better, or then I'm gonna be I don't know, whatever it is. But you know, these kind of thoughts were floating around my mind, and yes, I had to very, very quickly bring myself back and say to myself like, Nissy, like, no, that's never been you. Why on earth do you feel you've gotten this far being you and doing things differently? Why on earth now at this point do you feel like you have to be like anybody else or do things like anybody else in order for you to progress? And yeah, and I feel like today, so in the sermon, our pastor, he goes by apostle, but our pastor slash apostle was basically just talking about, you know, just being an individual, just knowing that you don't have to conform. You know, I was designed to be outside of the box of whatever the world wants to put me in. I was designed to be different. I was designed as a unique being. Merely because I am me, that already gives me an advantage in so many different ways. I'm unique, I'm different, and so are you. You know, each and every one of us are so different, and hence why, another reason, just a little curveball, but something that really annoys me, especially when it comes to creatives, is when people make comments like, oh, every other girl wants to be a YouTuber, every other girl wants to do hair, every other girl wants to do makeup. No, everyone is very different, and the way that one person does hair, even if 90% of the way that they do hair is the same, that they'll still have 10% that is going to be different because they're two different individuals. Or even if you go on YouTube and there's probably 5 million how to do eyeliner tutorials, but every single one of those individuals is going to do, even if it's just a little flick or just the way that they stroke their brush, is going to be, even if it's just slightly different, it's still going to be different from the next person, because we are all unique. So that's what I wanted to bring to you today, you know, just this idea of like standing your ground, especially where you might feel like there's a lot of pressure on you, or you might feel like because you're looking around and taking in all the things around you, you're putting pressure on yourself because you feel like, I have to be like somebody else, or I have to be like this in order for me to do better and to progress. That is an absolute lie, because one thing you also have to remember is that you will only go so far pretending to be somebody else until somebody susses it out and realizes that you've been faking it, and that will end up as an ultimate disaster. You just need to focus on being you, on developing and cultivating yourself enough to stand firm in who you are, and to shine in your uniqueness, to shine in your individuality, to shine in your beauty and your adequacy. This is definitely me speaking to myself as well, just reminding myself that, you know, I don't need to be like anybody else. And yeah, so typical, there has to be at least one siren in every single video. Essentially, all I want to say to you is this, you know, in this world that we live in right now, it is very difficult to be comfortable within yourself without feeling like you have to compare yourself with other people. You know, social media especially, I talk about social media a lot because it has made such an impact on our world. Like, social media is crazy. And so I get it, I understand that it can be so difficult to just be comfortable in you and to look at yourself and think, do you know what, I am enough and I don't have to be like anybody else in order for me to progress. I just need to be like me and do me, and that will be enough, you know. So I get it and I completely understand, but we have to constantly remind ourselves and remind each other that the fact that you are you, the fact that you are you as an individual, as an entity, as a being, as a soul, as a spirit, that already is enough. Like, yeah, I know it's so easy for me to say it on this side and to say it to you, and for a lot of people, you know, a lot of people go through so many different things, people going through some battles and pain and hardships that have knocked people down and crushed your self-esteem, and that have left you feeling, you know, maybe unwanted or unloved or helpless or hopeless. But I want to tell you this today, that irrespective of all of those things that have happened to you, you are enough, you are loved, you are cared for, you are so precious, and you definitely don't need to be like anybody else in order for you to progress or to do well or to get what you deserve. You don't need to be like anybody else, you just need to be like you. You are enough. And I pray and I hope that you believe that. Yeah, it's really difficult because it is really easier said than done, or, you know, it's easy to say it but really difficult to believe it. But I want you to literally, even if it means looking at yourself in the mirror daily and telling yourself, I am enough, I am great, I am fantastic, I am beautiful, I am wonderful, speaking so many positive and incredible things over your life and really affirming those things. Even if you don't believe it, initially you won't believe it, but after a while, believe me, it will will become who you are. Like, that's another thing that we were talking about at church today, like talking about just the power of the tongue, and what you speak over yourself or over your life is what becomes your reality. So if you constantly tell yourself all of these negative things, that's going to become your reality. But if you're telling yourself positive things and you're just pushing and you're saying, I'm incredible, I'm amazing, I'm enough, I can do things on my own, I don't need to be like anybody else, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, whatever it is that you want to say, if you can say those things, oh, trust me, you begin to reflect those things and you really become those things. So yeah, I just want you to think about that today. If you've sat there and you've thought about, you know, trying to be like somebody else or trying to do things like somebody else in order for you to do better or to do well or to progress or whatever it is, just stop and just think to yourself, why should I rob myself of me in order to try and live somebody else's destiny or try to live somebody else's purpose? Don't rob yourself, guys. Don't rob yourself. Honestly, do not rob yourself. Don't do it. But yeah, I really hope that this inspired you and it's touched you. I really do hope that you guys enjoy my Wake Up Wednesdays. I know a few of you guys say that you do, so I'm gonna keep them coming, I'm gonna keep them going. But I appreciate and love you guys so very, very much. Guys, we're nearly, probably by the time you see this, we might be at 38k. I think we are going to be at 38k by the time you see this. It's crazy. I'm also going to be announcing the winner of the giveaway probably the weekend after my event, because I've been so stressed out trying to organize the BEBB event. But now my camera battery is flashing, so that means it's time for me to go. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you guys again next week Wednesday for another Wake Up Wednesday. Stay beautiful, guys. And remember, you don't need to be like anybody else. You do not need to be like anybody else, because you are enough. So stand your ground.
Dimmer, but the flame still blue. Fire in your eyes, this is all so true. Just know I love you.